I previously covered all the different portal locations, but now I want to focus on the actual runes they have to put into these portals to travel to different parts of the map, as you see here in the very beginning. I'm going to quickly show you all the known locations and what those actual symbols are so you can fast travel. Let's get into it. I want to very quickly also cover the fact that these are one-way trips. As soon as you find one of the portals, as I had stated previously, that I have a different video on all those different known locations, you then have to punch in a set of 3 runes in a very particular order that will pop open this portal for $1,000, and you can transport yourself to another part of the map, as you're seeing here. These different locations are going to be very key when you come to one of these portals to fast travel to very specific spots. But that said, let's get into it. To kick everything off, I'm going to start with the Tier 3 area, at least 2 different locations that have been found so far that I am aware of. So this one is actually probably my favorite of the 2 because it gets you on the edge of the Tier 3 location and on top of a tower. That way you're not attacked immediately when you get into the area, which we all know if you've gone through the game a little bit, that Tier 3 is very challenging, especially in solo. Those are the 3 runes that you need to go and plug into a portal to get on top of this radio tower. It's a great spot to level into. Another good Tier 3 area rune location is going to be just underneath this castle inside of a moat that I didn't know existed until someone showed me this code location, and it's a really good one because there's no zombies that spawned here. So keep this one in mind, especially if you want to get into Tier 3 area without getting attacked immediately. Another rune location I want to quickly show you is one that's on the bottom left side of the map on the southern beach, because this is also one of the exfil sites that normally appears in games, or at least in mine. From my location, you're going to have to run a little farther back to actually find these runes. They're going to be on a random looking rock. It blends in pretty well, but when you get close enough, you'll actually see that the runes appear on just the side of these rocks. It looks a little more discolored, so it helps out a little bit, but these are the runes that you need to transport to this area. Moving to the east on the map, or the right from the location that we were just at, you'll come across this little plaza area, is the best way that I can describe it, at the very bottom left side of the map. In the very back of this area, when you come across this fountain, you'll find 3 of these different runes. Now, I'm not really labeling these runes very particularly because a lot of people have used different language around it, labeling these runes with different letters associated with them, so I'm going to leave it to you how you best want to remember these, but these are the runes for this location. Going north a little bit away from the location that we were just in is going to be on top of this Zaravan City Tier 2 building. There's a couple nice things about this location in particular. The building to the left of it actually has a portal that you can go through, and this one also has a great vantage point of the entire Tier 2 area in the southern half of the Tier 2 area. I know there's a lot of words at once, but those are the symbols that you're going to need to get to this location. It's a very simple one as well. Moving a little farther east again to the Opera House inside of the Zaravan suburbs. It's a very key location because usually there's a pack-a-punch at the bottom of this area. So this is a very helpful rune location and a set of runes that you can use if you have pack-a-punch spawn in this area. There's usually a lot of contracts on this side of the map as well. So if you really want to go to a specific contract that isn't on your side of the map, just fast travel here. It's a very easy location. Now the next set of runes are technically in the same segment of the map, but it's also underground inside of the tunnel system that you usually come across when you're driving the vehicles from one side of the map to the other. I'm showing you as best I can because you have to go inside of a manhole as quick as possible in this area right next to the radio tower, and once you get down the steps the first time, or if you go up the steps from the tunnel, you'll find these runes right here. Now this next set of runes is going to be very helpful if you're trying to do the mini Easter egg called the Vault. I have a video around that as well if you want to know more about this, but the focus on this is that these runes go into the underground catacombs that are actually hidden underneath the Shahin Manor. The pathing for this is very simple, so I'm going to speed through it. All you have to do is go through the front door, down the zip line, you'll come across the vault, and right as you hit some water, you'll come across these 3 runes right where you would normally park a boat. The manor also has a ton of chests to open, so you might find something good here. Now this is definitely a more odd location to have these runes, and personally I don't think I've ever teleported to these, but nonetheless I wanted to cover it so I can cover all of them in case you guys want to use it in the future, and if something happens here when there's more updates. But these are the runes, and this is the location at this horse ring, and with all these different runes, make sure you pause the video to get them written down correctly. And similar to the previous one, I don't think I've ever used this, but I can see this being a much better location to transport to because I know there's a couple quest lines that are in this game that you need to go to this area for. Nonetheless, you need to go inside this particular building, run up the stairs, and inside the big bedroom on the right is where you're going to be able to find the set of runes to get you to this market area. This set of runes is actually on a water tower, as you might be able to tell from the map. It's not that distinguishable, but it's also the most interesting way the runes have been set up that I have found so far. Obviously, this is going to be on the very far right side of the map. It could be great to quickly get to some exfil locations, but but make sure you take a look at these 3 individual pillars. They're going to have the right combination of codes to get you to this location in particular. Another rune location is going to be the top right part of the map near an abandoned church, which is also where you can get a free perk. I have a video on that as well. It's Deadshot Daiquiri that you can get there, but nonetheless, if you want to quickly transport to the other side of the map, I recommend going to this location to get these particular runes. When you're looking at this abandoned church, go to the right and go into one of these broken down buildings, which is going to be the closest one, ironically. As soon as you go down the stairs, these are the runes that you can plug into other portals to get to this location very quickly. At the very top right part of the map, inside a small fishing hut, you're going to find another set of runes. Now, the only time I've actually used this rune set is when I was actually going through the vault mission, the vault Easter egg, to quickly get to this location. Inside this little hut, you'll have this, and the actual pawn location is going to be the house just next to this one. It's very helpful if you're trying to do that Easter egg. Now, another set of runes is very close to a very common exfil location is going to be the one inside of Orlov military base, which is on top of one of the cranes in this location, very close to the bay. Now, this one was a little tricky to get to and actually climb up to, but if you're using the portal in the rune system, this is not going to be very difficult for you to get on top of. It's also a great location to jump off of because also in the Orlov base, there's a bunch of contracts that spawn here. Making our way over to Popov Power, this is going to be a great set of runes to quickly get to a potential pack-a-punch location. It's usually one of the big smokestacks to the right that I'm showing you here. Now, these actual runes are inside of the main antechamber, one of the main stacks that you'd normally use for nuclear power. This is actually going to drop you right in the middle of this place, just above this number 2. It's a quick central location that you can get to in tier 2. Now, I've mentioned the vault Easter egg a couple times now, and this location is going to be near one of the mini bosses you have to fight to unlock the vault. I call this the Bishop Tunnel because it's just on the line of tier 2 into tier 1, and this guy always spawns in this location. Now, this is a great way to quickly get to these guys to take them out, and also just to quickly get to the top left side of the map. There's a bunch of different ways to get to this location. I am simply showing you from the highest level of tunnel systems. You can also go from the bottom or zipline down. Nonetheless, these are the runes that get you to this exact location. Now, you may start to notice that a bunch of these runes get you to particular locations that may or may not have pack-a-punches or particular quest lines associated with them, and this is no different. Levin Resort usually has a pack-a-punch when I load into my games, and this particular rune location gets to the top of this place, just near one of the entry points that you get into the map on. Nonetheless, right next to this sign on the very top level on the roof, near the elevators, is where you're going to find this set of runes that get you to this exact location. I've used it a couple times just for pack-a-punch. I looped this set of runes into the grouping of just random locations that can be helpful in certain situations. I've never used it, but it's going to be in the Seaport district, in the housing locations, in the apartment area. This is not going to be particularly easy to find on your own, but what I'm going to do is show you the little side apartment that you're going to find these rooms inside of the bedroom. I'm showing you from the top of this building because it makes it a lot easier for you to find. It's just at the top floor, right before you get to the roof, and you're going to find the 3 rooms inside of this particular bedroom. Moving on to the Urzikstan cargo location is kind of a dangerous one because you are just across the waterway to the tier 3 location, and you have a zip line right at this rune location as well. It is another tier 2 location, but you can also quickly use this to quickly get into the tier location, again because of the zip line that takes you right across the waterway. That way you can get into the tier 3 location a little bit easier than you normally would just running in. These are the runes that you're going to need to go and plug into a portal to get to this particular crane location. Another easy pack-a-punch rune location is going to be one on top of the boat that's actually underneath the bridge that sometimes spawns a pack-a-punch on the bridge. That is also in the tier 2 area is where the pack-a-punch is going to be. Thankfully, this rune location is just going to be inside the tier 1 location. These are going to be the runes that get you to this exact boat spot. They're not the most difficult ones to memorize, so thankfully you have that, especially if you have a pack-a-punch spawn on the bridge. Next rune location can be found at the soccer field or football field, depending on where you are and how you describe the game. Nonetheless, this is also very close to the same bridge location for pack-a-punch that can spawn. It's actually going to be inside of the announcer's box looking over the field. I also found some really good chests in here that spawn, get some good ether materials. Nonetheless, these are the runes that you need to use in the portals to get to this location. And those are all the known rune locations. I may have missed some that have been discovered since I've started recording this video, so let me know down in the comments if I've missed a few, the location that they are, and the different symbols as best as you could possibly describe them for me. I hope this video has helped you guys figure out how you could fast travel around this map a lot easier. I use it all the time in my solo games because it makes it that much easier to get around the map. But if you guys did find this video helpful, make sure to hit the like, subscribe buttons, helps a lot with the algorithm. Leave a comment down below if I missed some again, and I hope to see you guys on the next video.